All right, let's get right into it. Today, we are tackling one of the biggest debates in the automotive world, the battle of the big three American pickup trucks. We're talking Ford F-150, Chevy Silverado, and the Ram 1500. For years, these have been the absolute kings of the road. But you know, these days, there's so much more than just work trucks. They're the family car, a mobile office, and your daily driver all rolled into one.
So if you're out there shopping, this is the question you're asking yourself, right? I mean, let's just push brand loyalty aside for a minute. We're going to dig into the real numbers, the hard data, to help you figure out which one of these amazing machines is the perfect fit for you and your family.
And this image right here really says it all, doesn't it? This is the reality for modern truck owners. You need it to tow the camper on Saturday morning, handle the school drop-off line on Monday morning, and you expect it to be comfortable and safe through it all. The lines have totally blurred, and that means the competition is more intense than ever.
Okay, so here's how we're going to break it all down. First, we'll dive into the raw capability, the towing and hauling war. Then we'll look at the engines that make those numbers happen. After that, it's all about the inside, cabin comfort and tech. Then we'll cover the crucial safety systems, look at long-term value, and finally, we'll get to the big verdict.
All right, first up, the main event, the classic truck stuff, right? The towing and hauling war. This is all about the raw numbers, the pure, unadulterated capability. When it really counts, who can pull more and carry more.
When you get it configured just right, the 2026 Ford F-150 is still the king of the mountain. We're talking a maximum towing capacity of a seriously impressive 13,500 pounds. If you have a really heavy travel trailer or big equipment to move, that number is the one to beat.
But would you look at how close the competition is? The Chevy Silverado is right there with a max tow rating of 13,300 pounds. We're talking a 200-pound difference. That's practically nothing in the grand scheme of things. Chevy is right on Ford's bumper here.
So where does the Ram 1500 land? Well, it clocks in with a very capable 11,610 pounds. Now, yeah, it does trail the other two by a bit, but let's be honest, that's still more than enough power for what most people are going to tow for a weekend getaway.
Okay, so when you put it all side by side, things get really interesting. Ford takes the crown for both max towing and what you can haul in the bed, the payload. But here's a little twist. While Ram is third in towing, it actually jumps ahead of the Silverado in payload capacity. So if you're loading up the bed with heavy gear, the Ram is surprisingly strong.
But you know those big headline numbers, they don't tell the whole story, do they? Because getting to those numbers depends entirely on which engine you choose. The powertrain completely changes how the truck feels, its performance, and its fuel economy. So let's look at the engines making it all happen.
And this is where it gets fascinating, because you've got two totally different ways of thinking here. Chevy's got its Duramax diesel, which is a huge win for fuel economy, especially if you're towing long distances. Ford, on the other hand, went all in on their Power Boost hybrid. You get that instant electric torque for crazy fast acceleration. Plus, and this is amazing, you can literally power a job site or campsite right from the truck bed.
Okay, so we've talked about what these trucks can do. Now let's talk about what they're like to live with every single day. Because today's trucks have to be your office, your family room, and your command center all at the same time.
Get inside a new Silverado, and it is all about the tech. That giant 13.4-inch screen is the star of the show, no question. And with Google actually built into the system, the maps and voice commands are absolutely top-notch. It honestly feels less like you're in a truck and more like a high-tech hub on wheels.
But then there's the Ram. And this right here, this is Ram's ace in the hole. Comfort. It has a special coil spring rear suspension. The others don't, and it means the Ram just glides over bumps that make other trucks feel, well, like trucks. If a super smooth, quiet, almost luxury car-like ride is what you want, the Ram is the undisputed king.
And what about the F-150? Ford's approach is just smart. It's all about balance. You get a big, modern screen, but they also kept physical knobs and buttons for the important stuff, which a lot of people really appreciate. It might not be quite as cushy as the Ram, but its design is so practical and well thought out that it's just incredibly easy to live with.
Look, if you're using this as a family vehicle, and let's be honest, most people are, then nothing matters more than safety. And these days, that means having a whole bunch of high-tech guardian angels watching out for you.
Okay, this is where we get into some seriously cool, almost futuristic stuff. Both Ford and Chevy now have true hands-free driving systems for the highway. Just imagine, cruising for hours without your hands on the wheel. And Chevy's Super Cruise can even do it while you're towing a trailer. That is an absolute game changer for long road trips. For now, Ram doesn't have a system quite like these.
And speaking of towing confidence, Chevy has a feature that, I gotta be honest, sounds like it's straight out of a sci-fi movie, but it's real. They call it transparent trailer view. It uses cameras to digitally stitch together an image that lets you see through your trailer on the screen, getting rid of that massive blind spot. It's incredible. Okay, let's shift gears. This is a huge purchase, right? So we have to talk about what happens after you drive off the lot. The real cost of owning one of these trucks is about more than the sticker price. It's about reliability, repairs, and how much it's worth a few years down the road.
Now, this might surprise you. It definitely goes against some of the old reputations you might have heard. According to the big J.D. Power dependability study, which looks at problems owners have after 3 years, it's actually the Ram 1500 that's ranked as the most dependable light-duty truck, with the Silverado right behind it.
But when we talk about long-term value, it gets a little complicated. Check this out. Depending on who you ask, you get different answers. One study from IC Cars suggests the F-150 holds its value a little better, but another one from Car Edge says the Silverado has the edge. The bottom line? It's not always a clear-cut answer, and it can really depend on the specific truck and where you live.
So, after all of that, all the numbers, the tech, the comfort, and the value, which one should you buy? Well, we're not just gonna pick one winner, because the best truck for me might not be the best truck for you. We're here to help you find the right one for your priorities.
It really boils down to this. You have to pick your priority. If your number one need is to tow and haul the absolute heaviest stuff possible, the F-150 is your winner. If you want to feel like you're driving a luxury SUV every day, it's got to be the Ram. For the best, most connected tech experience, the Silverado leads the pack. For that hands-free driving magic, it's a tie between Ford and Chevy. And if you value that long-haul diesel efficiency or the top spot in recent reliability rankings, then you're looking at the Silverado and the Ram respectively.
And that really brings us to the final question, the one that only you can answer for yourself. When you think about your life, what you need to do every day, what truly comes first? Is it the brute strength and maximum capability, the quiet, refined comfort for the daily drive? Or is it the peace of mind that comes with reliability and solid long-term value? The choice is yours.